If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today.
Even based on that research, like what does Trichoderma do as part of that soil metagenome? What function is that performing?
Well, number one, fungi have a much larger genome than bacteria do, prokaryote versus a eukaryote. We haven't talked about it yet, but certainly another important function here that's the other side of the coin of crop productivity is carbon sequestration. And as we have a leading program called Carbon Now, where we're helping growers utilize Comet Farm, working with Nori in the carbon marketplace, and helping them just on their current and past regenerative practices. Forget about rhizolizer for a minute, in terms of helping them get compensated for their practices that have added carbon to the soil that wouldn't have been there had they not doing these particular regenerative practices. So back to Trichoderma. Trichoderma is a eukaryotic fungi. And if you read the literature, most people will, not most, I think that the pertinent literature will support the statement that you're going to get net carbon sequestration if you have high carbon use efficiency organisms, and I'll talk about that in a second, but generally a fungal dominant soil. What you want are organisms that when they consume the nutrients that are being exuded from the plant or that you're putting there or might be present in the soil already, turn that carbon into biomass as opposed to respired CO2. If it's a low carbon use efficiency organism that eats and respires and doesn't put on biomass, you're not going to do much for carbon accumulation in the soil. Stuart Grandy at the University of New Hampshire, Trivedi at Colorado State, there are many others, I think, are showing that ratio of fungal to bacterial microbes, or oligotrophs versus copiatrophs, as Panjak likes to call them, or high carbon use efficiency versus low carbon use efficiency, as Stuart Grandy uses, is very important. And so adding Trichoderma adds the ability to create a more fungal dominant soil. And for example, that's one of the reasons that minimum tillage or no tillage becomes important, because fungi develop mycelia, yards, if not maybe even miles of them. I don't know if you've ever seen a fairy ring in a forest. You know what that is?
No.
It's a circle of mushrooms.
Okay.
And that circle can be 3 feet across or 3 miles across. They're like an aspen forest. They're all one organism. And so the fungal hyphae are just an extended root system in terms of communicating with the plant. But as they consume those nutrients from the crop, they simply add it on as biomass, and so that gets accumulated as organic matter. All organic matter is a microbial product. It may have originated in the plant either as those nutrients or as fallen leaves or stems or what have you, but they generally have been processed by those microbes, especially the fungi, to then build up in the soil. So we think Trichoderma is very important because it's a very powerful elicitor in terms of metabolites. I mentioned the paper by Gary Harmon, and he's the father of Trichoderma, if you want to put it that way. Other people have done some nice studies as well. Mycorrhiza is important as well, but that fungi add a lot of genetic complexity. They are very good at converting sugars and plant material to microbial biomass, fungal biomass, that then gets deposited as carbon. And they're very good at converting those secretions to materials that also will help aggregate soil into micro and macro aggregates. That becomes a very important part of the story as well. Because what you generally a degraded soil, it's almost like dust. It doesn't have a lot of structure to it. When you see a really healthy soil, it generally has a lot of structure, which generally means that it's good organic matter and has a lot of micro and macro aggregates. And those macro and micro aggregates are almost like housing, condos for the microbes, because the microbes form those and they're inside of there, and it helps protect them against degradation and helps hold moisture and helps with nutrient exchange, all kinds of interesting things. And fungi in particular have the genetic machinery to be able to stimulate all that.
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower, a proud retailer of the Sumi Soaker system. The Sumi Soaker system is an irrigation game changer. It offers multiple advantages for market gardeners. Even gentle watering without dry spots common with wobblers. The system is lightweight and portable, so you can use it with quick rotation crops. It's low maintenance with no parts to break or clog. It's versatile. You can use it for direct seeding, transplants, and cover crops. And it's very cost effective compared to overhead options. And maybe one of its best and most unique features is it can put down water in a rectangular pattern, which is very different than rotating sprinklers that leave circular patterns, often with dry corners and overwatered centers. If you want to learn more about the Sumi Soaker system, use the link below or visit us at shop.moderngrower.co.